The regular meeting of the Mishawaka Common Council for Monday, September 11th, 2023 will please come to order. Good evening. For those of you who are in attendance physically this evening, we welcome you. If you would, please take a moment to check your cell phone to make sure that you have placed it on silent or vibrate, and we appreciate that. And for those of you who are participating remotely, we welcome you as well. To that end, members of the public are asked to place their microphone on mute during the meeting with the exception of any public hearing. At the appropriate point in the public hearing, I will invite the public to unmute their microphone for purposes of submitting such comments as they may wish to make, one person at a time. All persons wishing to make public comments will be asked to first state their name and address for the record, and then after completing the comment, members of the public are once again asked to place their microphone on mute, and we thank all of you for your cooperation with us this evening. With that, in a moment, we will move into the Pledge of Allegiance, which this evening is going to be followed by a moment of silence in memory of those who lost their lives on 9/11, as well as the first responders who heroically responded to that tragic event that day, as well, and their families as well. May they all rest in peace. So with that, please join us in rising for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Hazen.
Here.
Mr. Belovich.
Here.
Mr. Mamalenti.
Here.
Mr. Benicki.
Here.
Mr. Emmons.
Here.
Mrs. DeMade.
Here.
Mr. Compton.
Here.
Mrs. Volker.
Here.
Mr. Hixenbaugh.
Here. Approval of the minutes of our regular meeting of August 21st, 2023. Are there any additions or corrections? Then hearing none, the minutes will stand approved as received from the clerk's office. Petitions, communications, remonstrance, and memorial.
Yes, Mr. President, we have appeal number 2023-27. This is an appeal, a use variance to allow adult daycare in I2 Heavy Industrial District at 550 Union Street. This is signed by the property owner. We also have a public hearing on vacation 2023-04 required by state statute on behalf of the city of Mishawaka for vacation of public right-of-way described as the North-South Alley located between West Front Street, West First Street, North Spring Street, and North Mill Street.
Thank you. We'll now move into a public hearing on proposed vacation 2023-04. Anyone wishing to speak in favor, please come forward to the podium.
Mr. President, members of the council, Ken Prince, Director of Planning and Community Development for the city. The alley that we're requesting vacation of is really a cleanup item. These properties, we own the entire block. So over a period of 15 years, we originally bought the housing that used to be there, then ultimately bought the Liberty Mutual lots. We are in the process of replatting a number of the blocks after dedicating the necessary right-of-way and easements in the downtown. This stood out as an outlier. We don't need that alley anymore. Half of it is paper, or on paper, I should say. So at this point in time, we're requesting for the vacation to occur. And then at such point in time as we would need an alley or other easement, it would happen at the time of development. So this is really just a tool to help us market the property. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Mr. Prince? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor? If so, please come forward. Then is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak in favor? Is there anyone with us this evening who wishes to speak in opposition? Please come forward. And is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak in opposition? Are there any council members who wish to speak? Hearing none, then we will close the public hearing on this matter and take action on the proposed ordinance that is related to this item under second reading later on in tonight's meeting. Thank you. This evening, we have no report of any special committee, so we'll move into ordinances on first reading.
Proposed ordinance number 2023-39, an ordinance approving a 12-hour shift work schedule for the Mishawaka Police Department.
Proposed ordinance 2023-39 will be assigned to the Public Health and Safety Committee. This evening, we have no resolution, so we'll move into ordinances on second reading.
Proposed ordinance number 2023-25. This is an ordinance amending Chapter 137 of the Municipal Code of the City of Mishawaka, Indiana, as from time to time amended, commonly known as the zoning ordinance of 1966 of the City of Mishawaka, Indiana. This is to rezone from S1 extensive open space to C3 city center commercial, northeast corner of Cedar and 3rd Street, and it has been requested to be continued until the October 2nd meeting.
Mrs. Volker.
Mr. President, I would request that we honor the request to postpone until October 2nd.
Second.
Thank you. A motion is made and seconded to postpone second reading and public hearing on proposed ordinance 2023-25 until our regularly scheduled meeting of October 2nd, 2023. Any additional questions or comments from the council? Then hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The matter will be postponed until October 2nd.
Proposed ordinance number 2023-35, an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Mishawaka, Indiana, establishing a designated outdoor refreshment area, is being requested to postpone until the November 20th meeting.
Mr. Compton.
Mr. President, I make a motion that we postpone ordinance 2023-35 to the November 20th council meeting.
Second.
Thank you. A motion has been made and seconded to postpone second reading of public hearing on proposed ordinance 2023-35 until our regularly scheduled meeting of November 20th, 2023. Any additional questions or comments from the council? And hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The matter will be postponed until November 20th.
Proposed ordinance number 2023-36, an ordinance amending Chapter 50 of the Municipal Code of the City of Mishawaka, Indiana, as from time to time amended, commonly known as Parks and Recreation Ordinance of the City of Mishawaka, Indiana. This is for the DOOR program, and it is requested that it be postponed until November 20th.
Mr. Compton.
Mr. President, make a motion that we postpone ordinance 2023-36 to the council meeting date of November 20th.
Second.
Thank you. A motion has been made and seconded to postpone second reading and public hearing on proposed ordinance 2023-36 until our regularly scheduled meeting of November 20th, 2023. Any additional questions or comments from the council? Then hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The matter will be postponed until November 20th.
Proposed ordinance number 2023-37, an ordinance amending Chapter 137 of the Municipal Code of the City of Mishawaka, Indiana, as from time to time amended, commonly known as the zoning ordinance of 1966 of the City of Mishawaka, Indiana. This is right-of-way vacation of unimproved alley, north-south alley bounded by West Front Street, North Spring Street, West First Street, and North Mill Street.
Thank you. May we have the committee report, please?
Yes, Mr. President, to the members of the Common Council of the City of Mishawaka, your Committee on Land Use Planning, to whom was referred the matter of proposed ordinance number 2023-37, report that they have examined said matter, and in their opinion, it should be adopted. This is signed by the entire committee, and I move for its acceptance.
Second.
Thank you. A motion has been made and seconded to approve the committee report. Any additional questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We will now move into second reading of public hearing on proposed ordinance 2023-37. Anyone wishing to speak in favor, please come forward.
Mr. President, members of the council, Ken Prince, Director of Planning and Community Development. Just my previous remarks still stand regarding the vacation. It's essentially a paper alley. We want to be able to market the property without that alley. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Prince? Thank you, Ken. Is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor? If so, please come forward. Then is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak in favor? Is there anyone with us this evening who wishes to speak in opposition? Please come forward. And is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak in opposition? Are there any council members who wish to speak? If not, then I call for the question.
Question?
Madam Clerk, would you please poll the council?
Mr. Hazen?
Yes.
Mr. Belovich?
Yes.
Mr. Mamalenti?
Yes.
Mr. Beninky?
Yes.
Mr. Emmons?
Yes.
Mrs. DeMade?
Yes.
Mr. Compton?
Yes.
Mrs. Volker?
Yes.
Mr. Hixenbaugh?
Yes.
Proposed ordinance passes 920. Proposed ordinance number 2023-38, an ordinance amending Chapter 137 of the Municipal Code of the City of Mishawaka, Indiana, is from time to time amended, commonly known as the zoning ordinance of 1966 of the City of Mishawaka, Indiana. This is a PUD amendment to allow microblading in unit number 14 at 6910 North Main Street.
Thank you. May we have the committee report, please?
Yes, Mr. President. To the members of the Common Council of the City of Mishawaka, your Committee on Land Use Planning, to whom was referred the matter of proposed ordinance number 2023-38, report that they have examined said matter, and that their opinion, it should be adopted. This is signed by the entire committee, and I move for the acceptance.
Second.
Thank you. A motion has been made and seconded to approve the committee report. Any additional questions or comments? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? With that, we will move into second reading and public hearing of proposed ordinance 2023-38. Anyone wishing to speak in favor, if you would, please come forward to the podium.
Hi, I'm just seeking approval to do microblading from
If you could, sometimes it's hard for us to hear. If you
Yeah.
can either move the microphone closer to you or step closer to it, better.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just seeking approval for microblading in my unit.
And I'm going to be a pain in the neck, but
That's
can you
okay.
start out again with your name and your address for the record?
Yep, I am Nicole Walasinski, and my home address is 27218 State Road 4. I'm sorry. Yes, State Road 4, North Liberty. Public speaking is awesome.
You're doing fine. Thank you.
Yeah, if you guys have any questions, I'm happy to answer, and that is all I'm here for.
Thank you. Any questions? Mrs. Volker?
Hi, thanks. You're doing just great.
Thanks.
We're all really pretty nice people anyway. I just have a question though, because you said that your main address is in North Liberty.
Yep.
So are you opening a satellite office?
No, this is, it's just my home address. I don't have the other
Oh.
one memorized, so the
Oh,
last
okay.
meeting, they accepted that.
So then, just a follow-up question, are you doing other services besides?
I do hair
microblading?
already, so I already have a salon there. I've been there for about a year, and
Okay.
I'm just adding microblading.
Okay, and what's the name of your salon?
It is Nick's Studio.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much.
Other questions from the council?
Okay.
Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor? If so, please come forward. Then is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak in favor? Is there anyone with us this evening who wishes to speak in opposition? Please come forward. And is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak in opposition? Are there any council members who wish to speak? If not, then I call for the question.
Question?
Madam Clerk, would you please poll the council?
Mr. Hazen?
Yes.
Mr. Belovich?
Yes.
Mr. Mamalenti?
Yes.
Mr. Beninky?
Yes.
Mr. Emmons?
Yes.
Mrs. DeMade?
Yes.
Mr. Compton?
Yes.
Mrs. Volker?
Yes.
Mr. Hixenbaugh?
Yes.
Proposed ordinance passes 920.
Thank you. We will now move into privilege of the floor, and at this time, members of the public are invited to the podium to speak with respect to non-agenda items only under privilege of the floor.
Hi, my name is Doug Southworth. I live at 1901 Division Street. And here tonight, and I'm going to apologize in advance if this is not the right forum, but as the council's well aware, Division Street is a relatively wide street that has no traffic control between McKinley and Jefferson. And living right there on Division, I have some concerns about traffic enforcement. So it's pretty regular that the posted speed limit there is 35 miles an hour, and as I'm sure the council is also aware, there are 2 schools, an elementary school and a junior high school, right in the vicinity there. There's kids walking through the neighborhood on a regular basis, and it's very, very common to see vehicles traveling, I don't have a radar gun, but well in excess of the posted speed limit. And just by ear, I work from home, so I'm there all the time, and I regularly hear motorcycles and cars with, very wound out, very aggressive sounding engines as they're kind of going stoplight to stoplight through there. I know the police force is already stretched thin. Traffic enforcement is tough to do. You've got to be there at the right time to do that. But I'm curious to explore any kind of options that we would have for, I know in South Bend, I've been through neighborhoods recently that had temporary speed bumps placed in different areas for traffic enforcement like this. And there's some different options there, but I'm a pretty tolerant guy. I don't always follow the speed limit myself. I'm not trying to cause any trouble, but it's concerning with the frequency that it's happening now. It just seems to be a straight shot, and people are taking advantage of that.
All right, thank you. And this is the proper forum for that.
Okay.
And we hear about these issues quite frequently, although as a legislative body, the fix or the remedy for those valid concerns is not always within our control. But what we can certainly do is we can pass along your name to the police chief and ask him or one of his officers to contact you to discuss what, if anything, can be done to address this. With regard to physical barriers, though, and the temporary speed bump that you talked about, those are issues that you may want to talk to Mr. Prince about, and he might be able to connect you with the city engineer and our traffic engineer, more to the point, who perhaps will be in a position to be able to address those issues. So your concerns are well taken. We all share them wherever we live in Mishawaka, particularly in the area that you live in. I can understand the concern. So we'll do what we can to facilitate some communication between the police department and yourself, and perhaps Mr. Prince can help you make contact with the engineering department so you can discuss that component as well.
That would be outstanding. My wife's over there, and she's actually reached out to the community line for the Mishawaka Police, and we just hadn't gotten a response, so we wanted to, like I said, we're not trying to cause any issues, we just want to see what kind of options are available.
That's what we're here for, sir, so we're glad that you're present. Any additional questions or comments from the council, Mr. Compton?
Mr. Southworth, I think I know you.
You do.
It's been a few years.
Yes.
You heard earlier, there's a change in the way the shifts the policemen are going to work. So we're hoping that this is going to add more police to the street, and we're hearing an awful lot, all of us, about traffic. So, and I know traffic has changed, and people seem to be driving faster and not as defenseless, defensive as they once did. So I think that, I know and I think other council members will encourage the mayor's staff to relook at options that have in the past, like South Bend is doing, that we have been somewhat resistive to, for good reason. I don't mean to say that, but for good reason. I'm anxious as one council person, and I think the rest of us are, to see the effects of what South Bend is doing and measure that against should we do some of these in Mishawaka.
Sure.
I know I live right around the corner from where you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about. I don't know if Division would be a good spot for speed bumps, but certainly some of the side streets might. Division is a thoroughfare. I'm not sure that would be a great spot for it. But I understand what you're saying, and appreciate you coming up here and talking to us about it. And good to see you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mr. Mamalenti?
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for coming this evening. And I'm just going to ask this question because I know the police chief will ask this as well. since you work from home and you're pretty familiar with the hours of these violators, could you tell us what time of the day that you typically see it or hear it mostly, or is it?
The morning is fairly well controlled. Actually, people seem to respect the speed limit in the morning. It tends to be more, I'm going to call it the 5 o'clock kind of rush hour, people getting out of work. Usually it's in the late afternoon and into the evening that we notice most of this. During the weekends, of course, traffic patterns are different and it can be kind of any time of the day, but I would say on average, it's more towards the evening than in the morning.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? And again, sir, thank you. If you would, when the meeting's over, if you can make sure that the clerk's staff have accurate contact information for you, that way we can pass that along to the police department and ask them to follow up.
Sure. Appreciate the council's time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Is there anyone else with us this evening who wishes to speak under privilege of the floor? Then is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak under privilege of the floor? Thank you. With that, we'll move into unfinished business, of which there is none. New business, is there any new business to come before the council? Then hearing none, a motion to adjourn would be in order.
So moved.
We're adjourned. Thank you, folks.